Welcome to Canada Brew on Politics Social. I am Graham Hughes. Nice to have you with us this morning. That didn't come up right, did it? What is even happening there with my name? Oh, I'll have to get that sorted out for next time. Hey, Billy Kershaw, how you doing? Sarah Davis in the chat. We've got Richard Grumpy Git. We've got Sarah again. We've got Trip. We've got Hilgara. How you all doing? We're just coming at you from Canada, which is kind of cool. Which is, it's a bit different. It's a bit. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. I just realised that it doesn't say Politics Social in the corner here, where it should say Politics Social. Let me just sort that out for you. I don't know why that has gone. Oh, I've got an idea. I've got an idea where things have gone horribly wrong here on the show. Just let me adjust a couple of things, and I will be. I'll be Reet. Just give me a moment. Where's my name? Graham. Where's my name? Ah, it's the one that says Graham. Name. There you go. Right, now we're going to try that again. We're going to try this again, shall we? Here we go. Yes, Graham Hughes. There you go. Politics. You can't really see that because it's not a shadow. There you go. I'm Graham Hughes. Hello, welcome. It is Sunday the 7th of September 2025. Welcome. If you'd like to join our friends in the chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button, which I know is not going to work now. It's going to be all over the shop. Oh, no, it worked. It's there. Oh, brilliant. So that's good. So you wait for that. You wait for that. You press that, and then you wait for a minute, and then you'll be able to join in with the chat. Today we're going to be talking about Donald bloody Trump from here, broadcasting live from Toronto, where it's just past 10 o'clock in the morning here. Very sunny today. It's very beautiful. If I'll show you out the window. Here we're on the 29th floor. Oh, you can't see it. So, that's because it was getting really dark, like on the auto when it was doing the auto exposure. It was getting really dark, so I've set it so it's a bit brighter. So, it can't really deal with having to look out of windows and things. We've got Joanna saying afternoon everyone in the chat. We've got Jeff saying, oh, that right, I don't have a smartphone, and Jenny saying I lost my job in June because of the EHRC shit. I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm sorry. That's awful. So I've had to cancel my subscription temporarily. Oh, don't worry about. You don't have to pay to subscribe. It's only membership that you got to pay for to subscribe. It's just free. You just press the subscribe button, Jenny. And obviously you are subscribed because you've commented. So that's all that's fine. That's more than enough right now. Thank you very much. And Pete says, has anyone else just received a government emergency alert on their mobile? I thought it was a zombie invasion for a moment. Yes, that was supposed to happen at 3 o'clock. UK time. It's just past 3 o'clock. Everyone should have got a government alert on their phone. It didn't happen to me because I'm in Canada and it's based on the local masts, the local phone masts. But there's going to be some second mobiles that people are hiding that may get revealed or may have got revealed by that emergency broadcast going off, which isn't good, Well, I mean, I suppose it's good if your husband's a drug dealer or something. You find out they're dealing methamphetamine out of Winnebago in New Mexico. But if someone's got a second phone because they're in a toxic relationship or an abusive relationship, it's something that it's like, oh, hang on, should you really be putting out these alerts on all phones without people opting in? You can opt out of them. It's a difficult one. The zombie uprising was very punctual, says Noon Zed. It was everyone's getting an alert to say, look at your phone, and then hopefully everyone looked at their phone and went, oh, Graham's going to be on in a minute on new Canada Brew. Is everyone like the new opening sequence with the Toronto skyline over the Lake Ontario? It's really cool. So before we go on about politics and all that shit, I just want to talk about yesterday, which I had a very, very pleasant day, standing in a queue, sitting in a queue, squatting in a queue, chilling out in a queue for the movie Wake Up Dead Man, the new Ryan Johnson movie, the new Knives Out movie with Daniel Craig, and this one's got Glenn Close in it, it's got Josh Brolin in it, it's got Mila Kunis in it, it's got Jeremy Renner, and it's brilliant. It's just like so much fun. It is just, I think, I don't want to say it's the best, It's definitely the funniest. Definitely the funniest of the series. If you like Knives Out, if you like Glass Onion, even if you didn't like Glass Onion, but you like Knives Out, I think you'll like this. I think you'll like this better than Glass Onion. And it's a bit pared down. It's all set in the one setting, which is in this around this church in upstate New York, and it's brilliant. It's really good, really funny. Really cool, great little whodunit. I'm not going to tell you who did it. It was the butler. It wasn't the butler. And I'm hoping that everyone will be able to watch it. It's coming on. It's getting a limited release in the UK, I think, in November. But then it's coming straight onto Netflix in December. I think they're going to make it the big Christmas movie that everyone's going to watch. Really good, really good. That's all I want to say about that. But I just want to tell you, I queued up all day to get in. I was only going to queue up for the last hour because the Prince of Wales Theatre here in Toronto, where it was being shown, is massive. It's like 2,500 seats. It is insanely big. And they have these things called rush queues, which are the queues, if you don't have a ticket to the premiere, you can stand outside an hour before the show, and you'll usually get in. If it's something like I Like Me, the John Candy documentary, which I saw on Thursday, I just got there an hour before, but I got a text off my friend Doug earlier in the day. I was in a cafe next to a hotel where people are coming, famous people are coming in and out. Sydney Sweeney, I saw Sydney Sweeney going in. I was very tempted to say, I hear you're a racist now, father. And get her over and say, for like a selfie, and say, can you do a little Sig Heil for me? That would have been funny, wouldn't it? But there were loads of fans who were like screaming, like, Sydney, we love you. And I thought, I don't want to ruin their day by being funny for an audience of one. So I didn't. Anyway, so I'm sitting at this cafe having a really nice popcorn croissant, which is so good. So good. It's a place called French Maid here, just around the corner from where I'm staying. And I was sitting there eating me croissant, and I got a text off Doug saying, I've got a mate who's volunteering at the Toronto International Film Festival, which is why I'm here in Toronto, and he reckons that if you want to go and see Knives Out tonight, you're going to have to get in the queue now. So I was like, oh shit. So I went over. I was only around the corner, so I went over, joined the queue. I was number 11 in the queue. There was only a few of us to start with. Made friends with the people in the queue around me. Daniel from Iran, if you're watching, hello. And also Kiana was also there. There were a couple of Canadians. There were a couple of people from America, from Michigan, who were in the queue with us. It was really cool, and we were just chilling out all day, chatting, talking movies. Everyone's a huge movie geek, so we're all like going on about films that we like, films that we don't like. And about half an hour before we were due to go in, and it was a good chance we would get in because we were so close to the front, and by now there were hundreds of people in this queue waiting to see if they could get tickets. A guy comes out in this very sharply dressed suit with sunglasses on, looking like, studio, works for a studio. And he comes and he says to the person at the front, like, how long have you been queuing for? And they went, 8 hours. And he goes, these are for you then. And he starts pulling out like a string of sausages at a Punch and Judy show. He pulls out like this string of like tickets, free tickets for the premiere, the world premiere of Wake Up Dead Man. Just pulls out all these tickets, and then he starts giving them to the first 15 people in the queue. And because I was in that 15, I got a free ticket, not just a ticket that I would have had to pay for. It would have been like, I don't know, $50 or something. It was free, so it was just icing on the cake that the movie was really good as well. They had a quick Q&A at the end with the director and all of the actors, all the main cast, it was quite a stellar cast, I've got to say, which was really cool. And hopefully Glenn Close will win the Oscar for this one. She's really good at it. She plays this kind of like Mrs. Danvers character, like from Rebecca. And she's excellent. And it's just dead funny. It's just really, really funny. 5 out of 5, no notes. It's one of those movies that I watch and went, I couldn't improve that. Most movies I watch, I go, I would change this, and I'll change that, and I'll cast this actor, and I'll change the ending. And I'm a shit to watch a movie with if I'm not enjoying it. But if I am enjoying it, I just sit quietly and let it wash over me. But one of the things that I really liked about it is, sometimes when I'm watching like a murder mystery, I spend the whole time trying to suss out who it is, and I'm like, I think it's this person, I think it's that person. Whereas this, I didn't really give it much thought about who it was, who did the murder, or how it came about, because I was just enjoying just watching these characters just be all zany and interesting and excellent. It was really, really good. So yeah, give it. I give it a 5 out of 5. And the zombies. Afternoon, Graham. Read your comment to the question rather than a statement. Sorry, what's that, SG? And Billy Kershaw saying, "Boosh." Hello, Billy. Welcome to Canada Brew. Canada Brew. So we're going to talk a little bit today, not much, but about Trump, because we kind of have to mention the horrible little man who F's Satan, according to South Park. Oh no, he is effing Satan. That's what they keep saying over and over again in the latest episode of South Park. But yeah, so what's he been up to? What has the Tangerine Terror, the Cheeto Benito, the fucking Orange Voldemort, what's he been up to this week? Well, he's declared war on Chicago. Literally declared war on the city of Chicago, right? He has renamed the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, the Department of War. This is what it was called pre-1949, but this is like a deliberate militarization of rhetoric and a symbolic shift away from defense. We're just defending ourselves towards aggression. We're just murdering. It's a difference between murdering in self-defense and just murdering because you're a psychopath. He's well into the more, murdering because you're a psychopath mentality. And he posted this meme of Chipocalypse Now, which doesn't quite work or whatever, but it was supposed to be a mashup of Chicago and Apocalypse Now. And he posted a fake movie poster meme of himself in shades and a cavalry hat threatening Chicago, saying that he loves the smell of war in the morning or something like that. Just trivializing real human suffering while mixing sort of pop culture with authoritarian posturing. And to go back to political kayfabe, which I've been talking about for a while now, the WWE WrestleMania style performance, but this is one that has terrifying real world consequences, and there's this planned crackdown where CBP and ICE agents have already been sent to Chicago, and they have riot shields, they have weapons, they are all set, CS gas, they're all set up for causing the not CS gas, what's it called? Tear gas. They're up for wrecking things in Chicago because it's a Democrat city and they want to kill everyone who doesn't vote for the Republican Party. So all these Americans who, their parents vote for Trump and they don't vote for Trump, their parents obviously voted for someone who wanted their children dead. You got to imagine how much hatred there has to be for a parent of their own flesh and blood, their own child, right, to want them dead, that they vote for Trump. They're like, yeah, I'm going to vote for this guy who's specifically said he wants to destroy everyone who doesn't follow his mad little cult. Well, I'll say little cult. It's 70 million people. It's not little at all. It's more than the size of the population of Britain altogether. But yeah, there's the echoes, obviously, of the Los Angeles operation earlier this year, in which courts ruled illegal under the posse comitatus rule, which is the law barring the military from domestic law enforcement, which is to stop errant presidents using the power of the presidency against states and governors and people who are, pissing him off. But, the Republicans are quite happy with that because they're a bunch of lunatics who are part of a death cult. So in LA, military personnel were deployed alongside immigration enforcement, blatantly unconstitutional. A judge ruled it unlawful, but Trump appealed and doubled down. And this sets up Chicago as the next battlefield in Trump's authoritarian experiment. And like with all bullies, he's seeing what he can get away with. He'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing until someone pushes him back. Governor JB Pritzker said Donald Trump isn't a strong man, he's a scared man. Illinois won't be intimidated by this wannabe dictator. And Mayor Brandon Johnson says he wants to occupy our city and break our constitution. And Senator Tammy Duckworth, who's ex-forces, I think, she said stolen valor at its worst, i.e., taking credit for wars that America has fought in the past, like World War One, World War Two, etc., and won, which Trump had nothing to do with. Trump famously didn't even go to Vietnam because he was rich. He was a fat little rich kid, and fat little rich kids don't go to war because rich. Podgy little fuckers like Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, they don't go to war, just the way it is. Cluster Bungle, hi all, treating myself to an ice lolly and unexpected Canada Brew after a long, frustrating day of building a greenhouse. Ooh, good. And enjoy your ice lolly. And what's the weather like in the UK at the moment? Is it quite hot? Fat Panda Cat says, does anyone else think he's sending troops in as a test bed to sending troops onto foreign soil? First LA and Washington, then Venezuela. Who next? Yes, absolutely. He is the president of war, who wants a peace prize for some reason, is just, he's seeing what he can get away with. He's seeing where he can deploy troops and who's going to push back. So he's looking now to see, this is a test bed, right? He's looking to see who in the military says, no, we're not going to do that, which generals don't support him, and he'll get rid of them, and he'll replace them with generals who will support him on his next mad fucking thing that he wants to do. Is Tammy Jack Duckworth's daughter? Yes, DJ, absolutely. Out of Coronation Street. Which side will the police be on in Chicago? Well, I'll tell you this for one thing, Bad Fairy. The police won't be on people's side. I'll tell you that now. Like, I think of this sort of walking around here in Toronto. They've closed off the main streets outside the cinemas on this strip here that we're on at the moment, and it's all pedestrianised, and there's police officers stationed at either end of the road, and they're directing traffic. And if a celebrity turns up in a blacked out limo thing, they stop the traffic and they guide them in. And every time I see the police here in Toronto, they're having a laugh. You can literally laugh, and they're just having a great time. They're talking to people, they're getting photos with tourists and stuff, and they seem to be having a good time. And I think that a lot when I've been at things in the UK, and I've never really been to a protest that has turned violent or anything like that, so I've not experienced that side of the police being dicks, and it's not their fault that they had to arrest 800 people yesterday in London for protesting peacefully. That's because they were told to by the Home Secretary. We'll talk about that in a moment. But generally speaking, my interactions with police in the UK has been okay. And I know that's because of white privilege. I know that's because I'm not black. I know that's because I'm not a woman. I know that's because I'm not working class. I get that. I completely get that. But when I've been to America, I've never seen a police officer smile. I just never seen a police officer seem to be having a good time or, enjoying their job of just patrolling the streets and making sure everyone's happy, because that's not their job. A lot of American coppers, that in their head, it's they see civilians, and they'll use the word civilians, as the enemy, and they're there to police the civilians into just. Yeah, Liz Allen for the first super chat of the day. Thank you so much, Liz. I hope that's not the only super chat of the day. It might be. I don't know. But yeah, thank you very much for that one. That's very kind of you. And my super chat bloody animation has gone awry. There you go. I'll do that again. Sorry, Liz. I apologise profusely. There you go. Liz Allen, thank you. Trump is the cornered rat in chief, but that makes him more dangerous. Yeah. And he's going to just see what he can go with. But what these things he's doing now, what he did in LA and now what he's trying to do in Chicago, it is rooting out the people in the chain of command who will stand up against him. Yeah, clearly that's what he's trying to do. SG, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. The LAPD has removed Kamala Harris's protection detail after pressure from the MAGA heavy police union. Yeah. A woman that, a lot of MAGA supporters would like to unalive, and they've taken away her protection. Scumbaggery on the highest level. But yeah, never see police officers in America just chilling out. You never see them just. I've never seen it. I know plural of anecdotes and data, but I've never seen it. They always look like proper grumpy fuckers. I remember when I went to New York for the first time in 1999. And to go watch some movie. I forgot what movie it was. It was probably terrible. But yeah, I remember saying to a police officer, like, where's a good place to get donuts around here? And, you know, as a joke. And he was just like, I don't know, sir. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, at least he called me sir. Anyway, so yeah. So, yeah, so this is like weaponizing. This is all part of the what's happening in Chicago is all part of Trump's, you know, weaponizing of immigration enforcement. Immigration being used as a pretext. This isn't about law and order. It's about scapegoating migrants and intimidating political opponents and people who voted against Trump. So he's doing this to Democrat cities. And saying, "No, I'm doing it to stop any crime." He's done it in Washington D.C. where he says there's no crime now in Washington D.C. because of what he did, because he put the troops on the streets. There's no crime there now, and yeah, by making this meme, Chipocalypse. Now the Trump ensures media coverage and online buzz, but he's importing the logic of internet culture into governance, making war into a joke, so people become desensitized to the actual horrors of war. And I've spoken about this before, the movie Civil War with Alex Garland, or by Alex Garland, who the thumbnail for this episode of Canada Brew is actually the background of it. Well, you know, the Trump is taken from South Park, but the background is the image from Civil War with the snipers on the torch of the Statue of Liberty. I really had issues with that film, because I felt that it drastically sanitized war. And I think for anyone liberal watching it, they thought, oh my God, that looks horrific. But I think it failed to understand or, you know, get across to anyone who supported Trump or was thinking of voting for Trump how terrible an actual civil war would be. And I have spoken about this before on this channel, but real civil war is fucking horrific. Most people who die in civil wars do not die of being shot with a bullet. They die from disease. They die from starvation. They die from being beaten up, like beaten to death. The you know, people using rape as a weapon of war goes through. There's just so many horrific things that happen in civil wars, and we see this time and time again around the world, where neighbours pitted against neighbour and old rivalries are meted out because there's no rule of law anymore. The place becomes an anarchy, and if you've got a grudge against someone, well, you may as well go and do whatever you want to. You fantasized about doing to them for years. You know, that neighbour who's didn't, you know, tend their lawn to the correct degree. You know, the housing association, or whatever they call it in America. They have these associations, don't they, where every picket fence has to be a particular shade of white in that neighborhood area. That all those grievances come to come to fruition, I guess, and allow people to go out and be lawless and do horrible things to each other. And as we've seen throughout history and throughout, you know, the history of psychology, the Stanford experiment, the prison experiment at Stanford, when they said, you guys are the prison wardens and you guys are the prisoners, and it was just students, and they had to stop it within like a couple of days because the prison officers were getting so sadistic with the prisoners because they were told they could. Anyway, One Angry Pagan says, I just finished watching the F1, didn't know this was on. Well, you do now, One Angry Pagan. I got the government to send an alert to everybody that we were going to be on. Whether you wanted one or not. The Home Owners Association, the HOA. Yes, that's the one. Simply Secular Dave, that's the one. Does Mikey from the Big Podcast live in Chicago? I cannot imagine what it would feel like when your own president declares war on you. Yes, Mikey is in Chicago, which is really worrying. It's only over it's not far from where I am. Well, I mean, it is. It's a few hundred miles, but like, you know, it seems mad that you have such a different situation, two countries separated by an invisible line. It could be in Chicago. It's full of tall buildings and, a subway and things. We don't have an L train here, though, which is probably a good thing. I mean, as much as I love public transport, it bloody makes a noise, doesn't it? Especially if you go around corners. Homeowners Association, i.e. house fascists, that's the one. Joanna, yay, looks like Just Eat is finally totally ignoring me. I'm finally going to raise a small claims case in court. Go for it, Joanna. Simply Secular Dave says, I heard a rumor that Mikey lives in Gary, Indiana. Yeah, well, I saw Gary, Indiana yesterday actually with some American. Was it the Americans in the queue? I think because there's an Erie in other states, but there's not an Erie, Indiana. But there was a TV show called Erie, Indiana. Yeah, I was talking about that to my American friends. Gary in Indiana is where Michael Jackson grew up. That's where he grew up. But it's a bit dishevelled. What can I say? Did anyone phones not sound the alert? It says Brighton and Hove actually. Ooh, I don't know. Joanna says, I wanted to go to court to set a precedent. They've gone away with this for too long, which is fair enough. Erie, Pennsylvania, says Simply Secular Dave. Is it spelt that way? I'm getting a round of applause from friends from Erie, Pennsylvania. Is it spelt like Erie? I thought it was spelt like I thought it was like 2 E's rather than what 3 E's. Like the lake. No? Okay. I wonder what came first. Like Erie meaning something that was like spooky, or the lake. Okay, so we'll talk about Trump. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, this smacks of Nixon's use of troops, federal troops against protests against the Vietnam War. Bush's post 9/11 Patriot Act expansions, but Trump he's taking this further by aiming the US military at immigration in cities. And as we discussed last week, the fact that they sent in people into New York State, into people who were working at the Hyundai factory there, which is one of the biggest investors in that particular area. And the brand new plant, I think it only opened last year, and they arrested 450 people, and they're all getting deported back to Korea. And it sent a message, doesn't it? Don't invest in America. Don't invest in. Why would you invest in America? Because you might wake up the next day and your workforce is gone, and you've literally lost billions and billions of dollars. And Trump and his disgusting MAGA tech bro scumbags are like laughing because they're making loads of money on it. The amount of money that Trump has made since his beginning of this presidency, so just in less than 9 months, 8 months, he has made an absolute killing. One Angry Pagan says, if I get to go to Canada, I have to go to Saskatchewan to check out the Tyrannosaurus Rex specimen, Scotty. I'd like to go to Saskatchewan because it's just a cool name for a place. And what was this? The phone alert. This time my phone sounded the alert. Last time it hadn't. I'm at 3. John says mine didn't. So some people's phones didn't seem to go off. But yeah, they're checking the system, aren't they? They're trying to make it so everyone's phone goes off. He's made billions. It's sickening, says Mr. Glitch. Yeah, through cryptocurrencies. He's been basically taking bribes from everyone, from tech bros. He's demanded 10% of all Intel's profits for himself. He says he's going to give it to the federal government, but he's not. He's just going to take it for himself because he's a rich, greedy bastard who just wants power and money. My phone went off, says Daylight Dave. See, that's the difficulty, isn't it? You say that your phone went off, but does that mean that you turned your phone off, or the alarm went off? And when the alarm goes off and it stops, does that mean the alarm's gone off? It's okay because the alarm's gone off now. And it's like, no, it went off and then it went off. Do you know what I mean? Like the first time it went on, but then it went off and then it went. So when it started, it went off, and then when it stopped, it went off as well. It's very confusing. Anyway, let's just talk about the wider implication with what Trump's done here in terms of Chicago. He's moved the Overton window further to the fucking right, which was, this idea of war on American cities is now being openly debated. Normalizing the abnormal is, that's got sort of the Trump's MO, isn't it? But it's also how democracies collapse. And then we've got the very, very risk of violence if federal forces and the National Guard enter Chicago. Clashes with protesters are inevitable. And it could create the pretext for even more crackdowns. And Trump, he thrives on chaos. He wants violent images to rally his base. He wants this. He sees Chicago as a traitorous city where people vote for a party that he doesn't want them to vote for. And this is pure authoritarian playbook 101. Create a crisis. Immigration, crime, the EU, trans people, militarize the rhetoric, or the Department of War, change the name, deploy the forces illegally, LA, Washington DC, now Chicago, and then mock critics with memes, and then escalate further when challenged. It's step by step. Trump's edging closer to outright dictatorship in America, and all those people who say it'll never happen here, are having to eat their words at the moment, because it is happening now in America. It is happening, and this isn't a joke. This is not normal. It's important to hammer home that Trump, although Trump wraps what he's doing up in internet memes and NFTs and stuff, it is deadly serious. If Trump can get away with this in Chicago, he'll replicate it in other democratic cities. And today it's immigrants, tomorrow it could be political activists, journalists, or anyone who stands against him, other rival politicians. We could see a night of the long knives where he just takes out everyone who disagrees with him. And I just watching America from abroad, makes it even clearer how outrageous this is. I can see buildings on the horizon over there, and that's America. America is just over there, over the lake. That's America. It's crazy to think. My vantage point here in Canada, being so close to what's happening in the country next door is I don't know. It's a weird feeling. It is like being in a country and that the country next door is in war. Kind of. Totally unrelated. Do TIFF films have subtitles? Asks Darren. Well, so the adverts before the films start do have subtitles, but once the films have started, the 3 films I've watched so far, none of them had subtitles, unfortunately. If they're a foreign language film, they would have subtitles, but no. And I think that sort of ruins the accessibility a little bit for, a lot for people who might want to come to this film festival but have hearing problems. And like I say, in the UK, in fact, we have no disabled screenings for deaf people on Friday, Saturday night. Imagine they got rid of the disabled ramps. On a Friday, Saturday night, every cinema in Britain got rid of the disabled ramps and said, that's it. If you're in a wheelchair, you can't come and see this movie. That's what they do to deaf people every weekend in the United Kingdom. And we do need to raise awareness about that. I know this is one of my particular hobby horses, but I do think it's really, really important. And if TIFF want to be, and other film festivals that I've been to want to be more accessible, I think all the films should just have subtitles as standard. And thank you very much to Darren for that super chat, my friend. That is very kind of you. I do think there seems to be I think too many over there seem to think nothing is really happening. Although all the Americans I've met and spoken to are at various levels of concern about what's happening in America right now and where this all might lead. I think that the Trumpers are like, this is going to be amazing no matter what happens. Gary, Indiana, where Michael Jackson grew up in, and Ron Howard is sanguine about in The Music Man. Oh, there you go. And Brighton and Hove says the danger at the alarm is that someone has a secret phone that they because they're in an abusive relationship, it could alert the abuser to its existence. Yeah, Brighton and Hove, I mentioned that earlier. It's one of those things where it possibly should be an opt-in system, but then you've got difficulties there as well. If you've got to get out because there's a natural disaster happening, and we're going to get more natural disasters. Are they natural when we've caused them? Maybe they're slightly unnatural that we're causing so many flash floods and landslides and glaciers melting and causing volcanoes to erupt because the weight of the glacier is not like pressing down on the ground anymore. It's all a bit It's not great, is it? Leapshin says, good afternoon, everyone, and how are we all doing today? I'm feeling pretty meh as usual. I'm sorry to hear you're feeling meh, Leapshin. I'm hoping we can put a spring in your step somehow or other. As I was saying earlier, when it's available to see, the new Knives Out film with Daniel Craig playing Benoit Blanc is very good. It's very good. It's very funny. I thought it was a little treat right there. Because I went to the world premiere last night. I went to the free tickets to the world premiere. That's pretty cool. I went to see Star Wars Episode 3 at the premiere in Leicester Square in 2005, and I got free tickets for that because I won an MTV Star Wars competition. I had to make like a short film, a 30-second skit for Star Wars. So I did a skit called Jedi Night Out, and it was these two Jedi Knights going out and picking up girls and smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol. And one of them picks up and discovers that he shares a surname with the lady that he picks up. Anyway, it's a Star Wars reference. Anyway, it won, and I got free tickets. So free tickets to a premiere is pretty cool. And apparently, the actors, because they were asked about this at the end, they hadn't seen it. The only person who had seen the whole thing was the director, and the actors. This is the first time the actors saw the film as well. So there'll be stuff that they weren't there when it got filmed or whatever. So that was pretty cool. I forgot about the conference. Shame, it was nice when he wasn't here. It says noon. What was that? There's a conference going on, isn't there, with the Britain Trump. What's his name? The frog guy, disgusting frog guy, the one who looks like a bunch of melted wellies. What's his name? I've forgotten. Anyway, he's doing a conference or something, and Angela, what's her name? Andrea Jenkins is singing on stage, and she sang "God Save the Queen," even though the Queen's been dead for 3 years. But whatever. God didn't save the Queen, mate. She's gone. She's brown bread, mate. She's pushing up the daisies. She's joined the choir of invisible. So yeah. Jenny Mountain, the police will be knocking on everyone's door. Not sure pulling into that move. Says one like a pig. And the VFuck conference. Oh, Jesus Christ. What a gang of shit. Anyway, so I thought we'd pop over to the papers. Should we go to the papers for a moment? We've got the Sunday Telegraph over here with PM to move migrants to army barracks. I mean, that's actually quite a good idea. Obviously, I'd rather that migrants were put up in homes around the country. We had a program like we did for Homes for Ukraine, where we put up our own homes to have refugees come and stay with us while they're getting their claim processed, but also that the refugees can work while they're getting their claims processed. Why not? But no, apparently we can't do that because reasons. So instead, we're going to put them in army barracks. So I suppose that's better than putting them in the hotels. Because also it means that the Tory donors who own the hotels aren't making loads of money from the hotels that they're putting the refugees in and not letting them work. The refugees are allowed to work in America, for Christ's sake. And then we've got Penelope Wilton, some old person, saying people can be cancelled at the drop of a hat. So this is the right-wing media whinging about cancel culture when it was the right-wing media for many years that wanted to tell you what you could watch on TV and what you could say and what you could do. There wasn't a super chat there, Graham. Get rid of that super chat thing. That's not applicable. For a long time, the right-wing media has made it very clear that they want to control what people think and what they do and how they react and how they behave and what they're allowed to watch on telly and ban this sick filth. Do you remember that? About the Sex Pistols? They wanted to ban the Sex Pistols, and they wanted to ban movies that they disagreed with, and they wanted to ban this and ban that, and they wanted to ban all these books. They want to burn some books because they don't agree with the book, so they burn them, and they burn Fahrenheit 451, and it's like, oh really? You're burning that book about burning books? Okay. And then and then they turn around and go, we're being cancelled. Help, I'm being cancelled. It's just pathetic. It's just the most pathetic thing. How can you have someone on the front cover of a fucking newspaper going, help, I'm being cancelled? You obviously haven't, because you're on the front cover of a newspaper. Do you know the people who have been cancelled? The people that no one's heard of? That's who get cancelled. Usually working class people who get, ideas above their station, eh? Annoying. Anyway, so moving on, we've got the Sunday Times on the right side of the page there. Ministers target rights reform to head off Farage, and revealed after 24 years intelligence failure that forced UK to free 9/11 plotter, which is not great, is it? Oh, by the way, there's also a picture of the woman from the family, up at number 42. I suppose it's a different number here in Canada. It's probably like 1,402. But yeah, she's there. She's smiling. She's happy. So, that's good. And it says, "Coming up roses," says the caption there. So there's an important picture on the front page, literally dominating the front page of the Sunday Telegraph there, of some woman. Because she's happy. Woman happy. Yay! Woman wears hat. Woman goes to horse race. Woman goes to church. Woman does a thing. But, that's the quality of newspapers we expect to hear. We've come to expect. Anyway, so over to the Sunday Times here. And the other story, the main story here is, ministers target rights reform to head off Farage. This is PM faces early test over ECHR as new cabinet members push for action to curb migration. So this is about the new reshuffle that we've seen in Parliament, in government, sorry, not Parliament, where people have been moved around, and we're not really sure why. After just a year in their post, everyone's been moved around and shifted to places, and you've got people like David Lammy, who spent ages, like years and years, developing and fostering a good relationship with dickheads like JD Vance. Someone's got to do it, which is all going to be blown out the water now because Yvette Cooper is now our Minister for Foreign Affairs. So Secretary of State, sorry. And moving on. And then there's a picture of the old man and the old woman from the family up here, because there needs to be. And old man says something to old woman. The family that we're weirdly obsessed with from 42. Number 42 up the road. We take pictures of their children and we put them on pamphlets, and we print these pamphlets, we have millions of these pamphlets, and say, look at this child. And that's perfectly normal. That's another day on perfectly normal island. The Mirror here with a Showbiz exclusive with Ender's Jamie Axed. This is the Jamie, somebody from EastEnders, who was on Strictly Come Dancing and made an ableist slur. Now, he's an actor. He's there with his Warburtons, and he's an actor. So, are you going to guess? Come on, guess with me. Is he on the private school mafia list? Yeah. He's on the private school mafia list. Yeah, of course. He's an actor. He's British. Of course, he was privately educated. He went to the Sylvia Young Theatre School from the age of 11 till 16, which is, fucking expensive. And, good job he can afford it. His parents obviously could, but they didn't teach him manners in that school, obviously, or not being an ableist shit. So he's been axed. He's been axed for, he's been cancelled. Let's say he's been cancelled for being a shit, which is, I think, fair enough. And then we've got the Sunday Express here. HMRC hotline fails to answer 4 million calls. They had some intern just calling them up 4 million times. That's amazing. And then Farage there, Britain needs refus. Fuck off, Farage. Anyway, so there's the Sunday Express being gobshites there. The Mail on the right, on the left there. Sorry. Boris and Farage must unite to crush Labour. Nadine Dorries stirring rallying cry to the right. Nadine Dorries, stuck between two lovers, feeling like a fool between Boris and Nigel Farage, two privately educated wankers who decide how everyone else should live, but don't live by those rules themselves because the rules are just for the little people. And Nadine Dorries, she says she's a Scouse, so she doesn't sound very Scouse. There she is. And then we've got a picture of the woman from 42. There she is. Her Royal Tryness. Kate converts that hairdo. Oh, so that's why she was on the front cover of the other newspaper. She went to the barber shop. Cool. Literally front page news. Woman gets haircut. I just, the quality of British news reporting is just it's what's the opposite of a joy to behold? It's basically that. Anyway, so then we've got Angela Rayner there on the front cover of the Observer. Obviously, Angela Rayner's departure, sudden departure from government dominated headlines this week. And we've got Home Truths. Who speaks for the left now? Labour's plan to rebuild Nightingale asylum hotels, or build them. Farage avoids tax on his constituency house, the Union Jack and Me. There's some comments on what's been happening this week, and we've got a story there. Angela Rayner had pure class, our class, and it's really sad to see working class northern ginger woman out of government, and just another succession of, I don't know. One of the things about Labour that I will give them credit for is that they're not dominated by the private school mafia in government as much as the Tories were, and as Labour has been in the past. And most of the vast majority of the people in the cabinet are not privately educated. A lot of them went to actual comprehensive schools, not grammar schools, but comprehensive schools. But I think that losing Angela Rayner is a great loss to not just Labour, but the country as a whole. And it is a bit of a hole at the moment. Daily Star here, anthem and flags in the classroom, Reform MP Lee Anderson School. Oh, fuck off. And then we've got The Independent over here. Starmer overhauls Home Office to challenge Farage. The Prime Minister has cleared out the department responsible for sorting out small boats and immigration, giving Shabana Mahmood a clean slate to tackle the issue seized on by Nigel Farage's Reform UK. Right, so let's talk about this for a moment, because this is understandable, and this is possibly what I would do. Obviously, I would go a bit further on a lot of this stuff, because I would make it so that there was a processing centre in Calais, and we had a returns agreement with France. I would go hard on this. As in, I would open up those safe routes. I would make sure that there were no more refugees staying in hotels. I would make sure that the asylum applications process was sped up. I would make sure that I'd smash the gangs and make sure that there were no gangs, because there was safe routes. There are no safe routes at the moment. But I would make this a huge priority, because if the boats are stopped before 2029, then Farage loses a huge part of his klaxon. The thing that he's been banging on about more than anything else. Labour have got an opportunity to actually sort this problem out with people. Irregular migration to the UK, but the only way you can come here if you want to claim asylum. But we heard this week that Labour's going to get rid of allowing people to claim asylum. They'll send the young lad over to get asylum, and then they bring over the family, so the family can be flown over safely rather than have to come here in a rickety inflatable. They're stopping that. They're stopping family reunification, and they're doing this like they say, it's a deterrent. We're trying to do deterrence, and I'm like, don't do deterrence. Just say you can apply, and if we say no, that's it. Farage has form in 40k in Nomad Capital, checked out by Led by Donkeys. Yeah, Farage has been avoiding tax left, right and centre, but he hasn't broken the law, you see, in that, because it's been tax avoidance rather than tax evasion. But he is a big fat fucking hypocrite. He always has been, always will be. That's his MO. That's who he is. He's a fucking disgrace, to be honest with you. But there you go. That's all the news that is fit to print this morning. I don't seem to have a copy of the Financial Times will come out on the Sunday. I guess it doesn't. Brett will have a day off, like God. Brett Wall saying, I was just reading up on the issue in Hope I Was Right. Indeed, it was what I thought. Embedded means is useless to this issue. I apologise, but it doesn't seem like something that's beyond tech to achieve. Brighton says, I'm not sure if Rayner had taken specialist tax advice, it would have been different, because I've seen someone get incorrect advice on stamp duty, land tax from a chartered tax advisor. Yeah, and she wasn't just expanding her £3 million property empire portfolio like what Farage has got. She was trying to sort out a house for her son to live in, her disabled son to live in, and she may have broken the ministerial code, but she didn't do it outrageously to be greedy or mess things up. That was the advice she was given, and she should have got better advice. But the whole thing is just, and it just goes to show, right? There are so many traps in everyday life for us. We have to do everything entirely right. We make one tiny mistake on typing in a number on the internet, and that one mistake can cost us hundreds of pounds. Like if we park in the wrong place, or we're late getting back to the car, or whatever it is, as a proportion of our income, as people who are not Uncle Monty moneybags, it's a lot. It's a lot. These are regressive taxes essentially, but the rich just continue to break the law. And they get away with it again and again and again. That little shit from EastEnders who made the ableist slur in Strictly Come Dancing, he was done for reckless driving or something. He was given loads of shit for what he did, but he wasn't stopped from driving because he had a very expensive lawyer who could argue that he needed to drive because if he took public transport, people might recognise him and be mean to him, and so he didn't have his licence taken off him. If it had been you or me, we couldn't use that excuse. I couldn't say, I can't get public transport. People might recognise me. I'm the guy who went around the world on public transport. Like, I wouldn't get anywhere on that argument. But, rich people, I'm rich. I'm quite famous, don't you know, for people who watch soap operas, I guess. I've never heard of him before. But, this is where we are. And then Brett Wall is saying, Joe, just reading up on In the Hope I Was Right. Indeed, I thought, I was read that one already. She was never going to be able to survive at the misogyny of the right-wing media and parliament. It's truly pathetic in this day and age, says Jane Lockwood. Yeah. But it is, we on the left hold ourselves to a higher standard anyway, at the best of times, which the right don't give a shit about, and they just do whatever they want. And people who are not in that upper echelon, that 7% of rich, wealthy people, inherited wealth in our country at least, if you're not part of that group, then you can't make a single mistake, and that's it. You fucked your life. Whereas someone like Matt Hancock can make mistake after mistake after mistake and then end up being Secretary of State for Health during a pandemic and causing the death of at least 20,000 people. 20,000 people. Like, Harold, what's his name? The fucking butcher of Hyde, what's his name? Harold Shipman. He went down, didn't he, for killing, 200 people, was it? 200 old ladies that he killed when he was a doctor? Yeah, Matt Hancock killed 20,000 old people. 20,000 old people. By putting people with COVID out of the hospitals and putting them in nursing homes. He did that. That was his decision. And because he's part of the private school mafia, he got into that position in the first place when he was completely incompetent, didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He was too busy having an affair to read the papers, to read the briefing papers. He was too busy shagging his secretary or whatever in the broom cupboard. And then you've got, Boris Johnson in charge, to let everyone get away with murder. You've got Priti Patel, who, in her defence, she didn't go to a private school, but when she was found to have bullied her staff when she was working as a Secretary of State, it wasn't her. It wasn't her that went. She didn't get fired. The guy who put the report together saying that she was a bully and that she'd broken the ministerial code, he's the one who went. He's the one who left. She stayed in her post. So we've got these, when we talk about two-tier justice, and this is why the rich and the elites talk about two-tier justice so much, it really suits them to pretend that there's two-tier justice against freedom of speech or whatever they want to make this idea about. But the real two-tier justice is the rich, the wealthy, the powerful can fuck up time and time and time again and still come out on top. The rest of us, we make one mistake and that can derail our entire lives. And that's where the two-tier system comes in. And it's not just justice, it's taxation, it's access, it's education, it's your job, it's the home you live in, it's so many things. There's a two-tier system. And the most, for me, the part of this that really gets to me and really boils my piss is the fact that Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson and Michael Gove, Andy Wigmore, Richard Tice and Aaron Banks and Isabel Oakeshott and all these privately educated motherfuckers that told you to vote for Brexit took away your right to live and work anywhere in Europe. They didn't take it from themselves. They still have the right to do that. They still have the absolute God-given right to live anywhere in the world because they can afford the fees. They can afford the lawyer. They can afford the paperwork. They can afford the residentia permits, whatever they need to go and live in another country because they're rich. That's the two-tier Britain that we live in. And people lap it up. People lap it up because they're not told this. Because the cowards who work in our media, they all went to school with each other, with the politicians. They went to school with the politicians. They went to school with the criminals and the gangsters and the oligarchs and all these tax evading scumbags and the City of London types and the CEOs and the oil company executives. They all went to school together. They're not gonna rat on each other, you know. They're gonna scratch each other's back and Bob's your uncle, literally. Anyway, I'm going to go now because I've been yakking for nearly one ungodly hour. But before I do, I'm going to read a few more chats out. We've got Labour's issue is that they can't allow anyone to get away with anything. They do, and they just the Tories. Yeah, you're right, Joanna. This is the thing, you know. Aaron says, don't use mobile phones. Good luck. And then Tim says, Trip says, let poor post-asylum people work inside the asylum system. Yeah. And then Jane says she was never going to be able to survive the misogyny. I read that one. And then Alistair says, in total, COVID added 250,000 to the 350,000 death that Tories caused in their 14 years in power. Yeah. And they got away with it. Not one of them is going to face a tribunal or trial or, you know, any kind of reckoning in any way. They're going to have this COVID inquiry, which they're going through. Nothing's going to come of it. They're just going to go, oh yeah, well, you know, lessons learned. Imagine a working class drug dealer who gets done for murder. And they're like, well, we were going to put you in jail for the rest of your life. But, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to say lessons learned and let you go. And the drug dealer's like, oh, that sounds boss, that, mate. Fucking brilliant. Yeah, I've definitely learnt my lesson. People talking about what I did. Yeah, they made a report. Bloody hell, they wrote it down. They gave recommendations. Yeah, my lesson's been learnt. Don't need to go to jail. Don't need to be punished in any way, shape or form. And I definitely won't go out and murder again, knowing that I wouldn't really get into trouble if I did. Anyway, Clarkson is saying Rayner made all the money off taxpayers. Phil points out, so did he. Yep. I mean, Top Gear was a BBC TV show. Paid for by license fee payers in the UK. And he went to private school, which meant that the government, the taxpayer, paid way more for him to go to his private school than they do to send the kid to a normal school, a state school. Isn't that mad? Like, that should be pointed out more. The subsidies that these places get far outweigh the money that normal schools get. Per pupil, it's about 25 grand they get per pupil off the government, all in all. Don't forget, they're all charities, mate. They're all charities. What do you get with charity? Gift aid, don't you? Is it gift aid? The taxpayer, if you give a tenner, the taxpayer gives a tenner. You know that thing? Yeah, that works for charities. They do that in Tufton Street as well, mate. 55 Tufton Street. They get money off you to spread lies about climate change not being a thing, because the people who run it are all working for the filthy foreign slime companies, the conglomerates, the cartels, the cockheads. The see you next Tuesdays. Don't forget the pepper. Ooh, indeed. I'm making salt and pepper chicken later today, so thanks for that. And Jane says BBC made Clarkson mega rich. Absolutely. Shifty aid, says Ernie. Yeah. It is. And one angry bing says Labour need to focus on and triple down on the green transition. Yes, I completely agree. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I will try and do the show earlier tomorrow. I didn't have my graphics set up and things, so I had to fanny around doing all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow for the next Canada Brew, which will be 8 o'clock for me over here. And I'll grab my... Isn't this cute? Isn't that a cool mug? This is for Billy Bishop Airport is YTZ. Billy here in Toronto. Anyway, I'll make myself a brew and we will party on Wayne, party on Garth. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Really appreciate it. And thanks for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. And hopefully Tansky will be doing a show later. So if she is, please join her on a channel because she's awesome and we think she's great. And also, if you would like to subscribe to this channel or and you haven't already, please do so. If you'd like to give this video a like, that would really, really help our algorithm. And you've also got the opportunity to join and become a member of the channel. And if you become a member, you get your name at the end of the credits when I update it, but also you get access to the Discord server, so you can continue the conversation with the beautiful people in the chat here after the show's finished. So please consider doing those things. And until next time, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.